Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for 2022. We're going to jump right in here, Gemini, and we are going to see what is going on for you at this time. And I just dropped all the cards, just so you know. You start off with this wasp spirit, and it says, sometimes life stings, so we're going to have to see what that's about. Yeah, you could be coming into the year, coming off of a tower moment. It looks to me like you've put a lot of effort into something that it just hasn't worked here, Gemini. So, coming off that Gemini moon, by the way, that we had on December 18th of 2021. So if you go back to if you're watching this reading in 2022, if you go back to thinking about the middle of December, or towards the end of December, I should say, it's like there could have been a loss, or you could have experienced something being cut out of your life here, especially with this card. You have this sometimes life stings card, so I do feel like some of you have experienced a loss or have experienced like something that's maybe stung a little bit, something that you feel like you lost with the wasp spirit. Also, in this row, you have the Queen of Wands, the Tower, and the Eight of Pentacles. The Tower with the Eight of Pentacles here, just to me, says that you've been working on something or did work on something, maybe, and it feels like before this year, that just fell apart, that just didn't work out, that didn't go according to plan. But the Eight of Pentacles also reminds us that we've probably learned a lot from the situation, and this is going to be something that can help you in the future. I do feel this reading is encouraging you to not go to, kind of like not revisit the past. This is why. You have the Knight of Swords here. The Knight of Swords is going towards the Tower. The Queen of Swords is going this way. It's super interesting to me that the next card here is the Star. The Star comes up after the Tower in the Major Arcana. And it's also interesting to me that the Queen of Swords, she's going towards the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles would be working on something completely brand new. So to me, it looks like you are moving towards something new that has a lot of potential. Very simple reading, I would say to you. And not only that, it's like your outcome is this Grand Symphony card. So it's like you are going to want to do this. Yes, the Knight of Pentacles is work. But at the same time, it's like your outcome is that Grand Symphony card. So I feel like it's worth the effort to move towards something new here, Gemini, especially if something's been cut out of your life kind of like in December, which again, based off the astrology, that would make perfect sense to me, that something was cut out of your life at that time, or maybe something kind of, faded away, basically. But let's see where this first row is going. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Sun. The Queen of Wands and the Sun kind of asks us to move towards our desires more. Definitely, I would say this is true for, pretty much everybody, just in general, because of the astrology, I do believe is encouraging people to move towards things that they love to do, or, at least enjoy doing, or can do to a high degree of accuracy. So if you're worried about career or work or business, I would be doing something that, I think that we don't necessarily have to be totally in love with what we do, but I think as long as it brings us joy and happiness, then that's what we should be doing with the Sun card. Queen of Wands, she really, she can't, I always make the joke that she doesn't half-ass anything. She whole-asses one thing, right? She does something where she can put her heart and soul into it. So she's not like just a dabbler. She doesn't just dabble her energy into something. So it's like if you're in any situation in your life, this could be a relationship, could be a business, that maybe you're just dabbling, maybe you don't really love it. I feel like this reading is saying move towards happiness. With the Tower, you have the Hermit. Like I said, I feel like you have definitely learned from this Tower situation, which is wonderful. Learning from any Tower moment or whatever you've gone through is a good thing. The Tower wants us to ground ourselves. Again, these people, they are falling down to earth on the Tower card. They are being grounded in reality. So, the whole thing is they've built those walls up too high around them so that they don't have to see reality, or so they don't have to live reality. And the Tower comes in and is like, no. That's like the universe saying, no, you have to see the reality of a situation. So I feel like you have with the Hermit. The Hermit has done some very deep soul searching. This is giving me like Dark Night of the Soul vibes. So some of you could have been experiencing a Dark Night of the Soul. You could have experienced something very traumatic in the recent past. Now with the Eight of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, ultimately moving in the right direction here. Ten of Pentacles is like establishment, and it's everything you desire to have in your life. It is a really good card. To me, it represents a tree of life, and it represents kind of having it all, so to speak. So I do feel like there's like a lot of really positive energy coming in with that Ten of Pentacles. It's not clear to me exactly how you're going to be getting it just yet, although I think we're going to get there. You do have this potential card here. In this card, there's this big mountain on the card. And I always tell people, it's like, where do you get the best views? At the top of a mountain. So it's always worth climbing the mountain. It's always worth climbing to the top of a mountain. Just like the hermit, he's standing at the top of a mountain where he is kind of shining his inner light and he has the best views. So I do see something with potential coming in for you here, but it's going to require work. I think for some of you, it's a relationship that is brand new, but it's going to require work because it's like you're having to put in the work to build a relationship. For others, I feel like it's a business or something financial with that Knight of Pentacles. It could also be like school, for example. It's because school could lead to something financial, right? But, it's like everything is coming together. You have that Grand Symphony card, and that really tells me that kind of like all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together for you this year. So it's going to be a really good year for you. I do feel it's going to be work, but I think it's going to pay off big time. You have the Page of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and the Queen of Swords in this row. Very simple. We already covered this. The Knight of Swords is saying, do not go back to the past. This is too much work. This way. The Queen of Swords is saying, going this way. It's like, yeah, this is still work to move towards the Knight of Pentacles, but guess what? With the Knight of Pentacles, we see growth. Going this way, it's just we experience a tower moment again. So the reading is encouraging you to climb the mountain, to accept the offer of potential with the Page of Wands, which is a card of going on an adventure or accepting the adventure that is being given to you, basically. So something with potential, this kind of is giving me High Priestess vibes. The High Priestess represents something that has potential. Potential doesn't mean anything because something with potential, it's like if we do nothing, then nothing is going to happen. It's like we have to be the one to make it happen with an opportunity that has potential. So this could be a love offer being made to you, but there might be an obstacle to overcome with that potential card. For some of you, I'm seeing this as like distance. So maybe you'd have to move. For others, if this is work or business, with the Knight of Pentacles, it popped into my head right away that there could be like a certification or something that is required. So again, if you're making a change in work or business, there could be a certification. Maybe you have to go back to school. Maybe not. Maybe you just can take a course online, like a real estate course or something like that, to get your real estate license is popping into my head. So I'm sure somebody's going to do that. Or maybe you have to take like a coding course online or something with that Knight of Pentacles. So it kind of is popping into my head as a certification. For others, it just could be work with the Knight of Pentacles. With the Page of Wands, yep, more work. Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is like saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? I feel you're looking at your past situation and you're saying, is it worth it to kind of grow all these extra pentacles, or is there something better? Is there something easier? The Seven of Pentacles, something people don't realize is that this guy has a lot of questions. It's a card of analysis. He's really looking at those pentacles and he's like saying, is it worth it? Do I want to put this much time to get 7 pentacles, or could I put less time and maybe get 6 pentacles and still be happy? Or do I want 8 pentacles? Do I want 10 pentacles? It's up to you. We all, kind of make our own life, right? And I feel like you have a lot of questions with this 7 Pentacles here, and I feel like you're going on a new journey. I feel like you're moving towards something that's going to make you happier, clearly. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Ten of Wands here. Yep, again, just no is all I have to say about the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is like trying to force something to happen. He is like, this horse looks stressed out here. I always say this. Look at that horse's face. He's like trying, and it looks like it's barely able to run that fast. It's got both its legs stretched out in front of it. So it's kind of like a card that can represent really forcing something instead of going with the flow and allowing something to happen. So, again, he could be repeating a mistake as well. I frequently say that the Knight of Swords is my card of getting a second opinion or needing to get a second opinion on something. So, again, I would just be careful of repeating a tower moment. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Two of Wands. I mean, everything you're reading is like saying move on to the next thing, basically. I just did another reading that was very similar. So it seems to be like a year where people could be moving on to new things. This card says something from the past is complete. He's holding on to something new, and because of that, he has the whole world in his hands here. So I feel if you grab on to something new or move towards a new opportunity that is going to require work, then you will be successful. Again, very simple reading here, Gemini. In your last row, you have this Grand Symphony card. I kind of feel like everything is coming together here. You have several cards here that would represent kind of like, having it all. Ten of Pentacles, this card, the Sun. Queen of Wands, if she puts in the work. Knight of Pentacles, same deal. So I feel for a lot of you that you're kind of creating a life that's much more exciting, much more worth living, worth celebrating as well. I feel that the Tower moment, there's an element of like boredom there, because it's like, here's the thing about the Hermit, having the Tower with the Hermit knows everything. Everything about him represents wisdom. He has a gray cloak, gray beard, he's got that staff. All three of those things represent wisdom, right? So it's kind of like he has all the answers. Sometimes I think when we're in a situation where we know everything, quote unquote, in which, do we ever really know everything? Probably not. But when something isn't unpredictable, it kind of becomes boring. That's what creates the Tower moment. I feel like you're entering into a time of where there's just like more color, more vibrancy thing. Like that's the best way I can describe what I'm seeing in my head. It's just like more color, more excitement, more entertainment. And it's just like living life in a much more entertaining way. And I feel like that's what you're about to be doing here, Gemini. Is like things aren't so structured. It's not so like stiff is the best way I could describe it. It's much more flowy is what I'm getting in this last row. You have the Three of Cups, the Star, and the Knight of Pentacles. The Star, again, comes up after the Tower, and the Star represents healing from the Tower as well. It's kind of like the thing that gives us hope, inspiration. It's a thing that can increase our faith as well. I think that you could be seeing something is possible. She's pouring water onto the earth here, and this represents the fact that if something is possible for one person, it's possible for you. I kind of feel with that wasp spirit that in the past you had a situation that maybe made you a little bit jaded, or kind of didn't paint something in the best light. So maybe you had a super negative relationship experience, or super negative career experience, or work or business experience. And I feel like the Star is you seeing, it's like there's something inspiring, a story entering into your life, could be coming in from another person. Right here with the Three of Cups. So I kind of see you seeing, maybe you see your cousin getting married and being super happy. And maybe you're like, oh, you know what? They did it, so it's possible for me. That's a Star. Maybe you see your neighbor starting a business, and maybe they become super successful. It's like I feel like you're getting the inspiration that you need here with the Star. The reason you have the Knight of Pentacles is because you need to get to work. It's like you have everything you need. He's got this green here on the horse and on his head. The green, they're meant to represent oak leaves, which represent wisdom. It basically says he has all the wisdom and knowledge he needs to get started to plant these empty fields. He's the only knight that represents no movement. He needs to get moving and to plant these fields so that there can be growth. It's like really, you're going to be the inspiration in the future if you start working. I encourage people to be inspirational at this time, because I feel like that's what the universe is calling us to do. I feel like the universe is saying that everybody, we all need to become an inspiration for other people, because that's, probably going to lead to the most growth, most abundance, and most happiness for all of us. So that's what I'd be doing here, Gemini. But let's see where this is going for you here, Gemini. With the Three of Cups, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Again, every single card of potential practically here. The Ace of Pentacles is a card of potential, card of an opportunity. There's a new opportunity coming in for you. I'd say what gets you excited? I feel like for a lot of you, there are going to be these moments where you see something that makes you happy, like you have an experience where maybe you see an old couple who's married and happy, right? Holding hands, something like that. I feel like it kind of sparks that in you. That's if you're, looking for love or whatever. Same thing in work or business. Like maybe you see a person and they're kind of inspiring. They're inspiring to you. They've created something that you would like to create. I feel like the Ace of Pentacles, hand of God, reaching out saying, hey, here's the opportunity for you to create something exactly the same or better, right? And I feel for a lot of you that you should grab onto that opportunity and get to work. With the Star, you have the Queen of Wands twice. Every single air sign has had the Queen of Wands this year. Queen of Wands is really about being bold, really being assertive, really going for something. And again, I always make the joke, you can't half-ass anything with the Queen of Wands. You got to whole-ass something. You got to put your heart and soul into something that you're doing, and then you will be successful. And with the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Two of Cups. For a lot of you, this could be love. This is going to be love that you've never experienced before. The Two of Cups, they're meant to look like two totally different people. And so they kind of it kind of represents the fact that you could be attracting a person who's very different than you. They also have a balanced ego as well. Both people have balanced egos, so it would represent a person where it's like a balanced relationship. And it also represents communication as well. They have a good communication So I feel for some of you, if you're looking for love, this could be a new relationship after a tower moment in a relationship with a person who's much more balanced, just a much better match. For the most part, I feel like this reading is very simple. Again, I feel like it's saying there's an opportunity coming in for you. It's going to be something that has a lot of potential. Could just be an idea, could be whatever. I think if you're wondering what this is, I would think about that Grand Symphony card. It's like if you could do anything at all that you could possibly imagine, even if it seems impossible, what would that thing be? And I feel like that's what you need to move towards here, Gemini, with that Ace of Pentacles. And I feel like you're going to get pretty damn close. So this looks really good to me, Gemini. I love it. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. And also make sure to check out the 2022 love readings. I have those linked up down below. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your year.